Hi, I'm Mark Schiffner from Venom Products. Today we're going to go through the installation of a clutch kit for this Ranger XP 1000. Welcome to Clutch School. So to start out, you take all the bolts out of around the perimeter of the clutch cover. After you tilt the bed up, of course.
Just take the clamp off of the intake right off the throttle body there. Just pull this back and set it up out of your way. It'll help you out a lot. This cover's really tricky to get off. It's really hard plastic. You pull it out, slide it forward, lift it up. You gotta be kind of rough with it, but try not to break any tabs.
So here you see it's the P90X clutch, which comes on the new XP 1000 and the 4-seater for 2019 as well. It's a unique clutch. It's not like any other that they make. So there's some things that are unique about this unit, and we'll go through that when we pull the clutches off and start doing the tuning components.
Take the belt removal tool. It comes right with all the other tools for the machine. To take the belt off, you just put that in there and you just keep twisting. You can see the belt getting loose, and then you pull the belt off. This primary is unique compared to most primaries you've ever seen before. The movable sheave and the cover and the spider will come off without a puller. You just have to take a T60 Torx wrench and pull the bolt out. It is torqued to 100 pounds, so be careful. You want to leave that sleeve in there when you're pulling it apart. There's a sleeve that can come out. Try to keep that in there. And slowly pull it off because there is spring pressure, a little bit of spring pressure behind there for the one-way bearing. And now we can service weights or do whatever we want there. Try not to lose any of that stuff. To remove the secondary clutch, all you gotta do is have a 15 millimeter, put it on there. There's some washers on there, so be careful not to lose them. Pull it all off. Once you have the secondary clutch off, what we like to do is mark where each sheave was. Put a line right there on this sheave, and then a line on the other one. I don't know if these things are balanced by an assembly or individually, but you always want to put it back together the way it came, so it is balanced for sure. Once you have your clutches marked, they come apart. Just pull it apart like so. See, there's 3 rollers, 3 rounds for the helix to ride, the spring. This is a helix. Helps change upshift, backshift relative to what you are doing. Take these 3 bolts out, and this thing will fall out of here, but there is spring pressure, so we will put it under our spring compressor. Set it down right there. Out the D-wall. Take your bolts out, and there is compression from the spring on there, so slowly unwind her. Watch the spring get loose. Have a spring cap in there. It helps pilot the spring at idle. Goes in there. Don't lose that. Now we're ready to change out springs and helixes depending on your application. We're ready to install the new helix into the clutch. You gotta be careful. This goes in there and it is a very tight fit to get in and bolt it all up. So put her back on there. Whatever spring you're using back in there. Spring cap. Take the compression tool. Slowly bring it back down and try to line up your holes. Put your bolts back in and torque to 32 foot-pounds. Now you can loosen after you get torqued. Loosen your compression tool. Pull it off of here, try not to hurt any bushings while pulling it off. And then find your marks you used to align it and slide her back together. And we're done with that. Here's the primary clutch, so we're going to take it apart. We got to get to the weights that are down there. 10mm bolts, you got to take all 6 of them out. There is spring pressure on them, so you're going to have to hang on to it. And you take the spring out. And you also got these you got to watch out for. It's a part of the post, and there's a couple washers in here. And you can slide the spider. Up and out of your way, but make sure they got X's, you gotta line them back up. Take the weights out, it's a 3/8 inch and an 1/8 inch. Not 3/8 inch. It's not 1/8 inch. Nut off, you can pull the bolt right out. And then the weight will come right with it. Here's our adjustable weight kit that we have for the Razor 1000. It is the same exact profile as stock. It's adjustable from 86 grams to 106 grams. Alright, here's how we have the weight set up for 100 grams. Every setup's going to be different. Everybody's going to choose something else. You got different mud tires, whatever, but this is what we're doing here. But it's in the same way you took it apart. The pin in the same direction you pulled it out of. Put the nut on there and torque it to factory spec. We don't have all the weights in here, but for our demonstration, I'm just going to show you how to put that back in there. Find the X. That's right there. There's an X. Right here. Line them back up and put it back in. We got it all. At this stage, you got to put the washers back in there, spring in there, and then we'll press this cover back down on there. After we get the cover in there, slide this thing all the way down to the center. Make sure it gets all the way down there. Line up your X right there with your X and your spider. Torque them to factory spec, and then you can line up your washers with that hole, slide the black piece in there. Should be in there all the way like that. Now you're ready to bolt it back onto the machine. Next, we just got to bolt the primary back on. Make sure that spring and all that stuff is in a line. Same way you took it off. Slide this back on. Keep your thumb in that black thing so you don't lose a washer and that post. Put your bolt back on, torque to 96 foot-pounds, I think the manual says, but good to go. All right, now we're putting the secondary back on. Just gotta worry about getting the splines lined up. Remember, you got all these washers. Make sure you got them all. Put it on there and torque it to factory setting. Now we gotta put the belt back on, put your belt removal tool back in, spin it so it opens your secondary clutch a good distance. We have all types of different helixes, so you gotta watch out so don't get caught in an EBS track when you're putting that in there. Try to rotate the clutch forward, and then slide your belt on the primary first. And then the secondary. I like to spin the secondary backwards. Don't matter which way, I guess you spin it. To get the belt up to the height that it's supposed to be. Belt should be sticking up a little bit right there. You can now go ahead and put your clutch cover back on. It is very tricky, but they do show a good explanation how to do it in the manual. Make sure your seal around the plastic cover is still good. If it ain't good, go buy a new one. Don't want water getting in your clutches, and then you can put the bolts back in there.